Hello friends, in this video I am going to show you how to customize the Pega login screen. So by default, when I purchased this software from the Pega systems, let me tell you the real-time scenario or any business scenario. Let us suppose I am the SBI client. I am from SBI. SBI company has purchased this product. Enterprise product, not personal edition. Enterprise product from the Pega systems. Okay, because they want to build some loan application or etc. Okay, finally they purchased and they start doing the customization. Even Pega motto is a build for a change. Pega motto is build for a change. Once you purchased the Pega product or a Pega software, you can customize. You can customize whatever you want. You can customize whatever you want. Not all, only at least. I mean to say you cannot touch the core rules and you cannot modify the core engine rules. Okay, apart from that you can customize it. So as part of the customization, obviously the client don't want to display this Pega logo etc. Okay, I want to display my SBI logo, I want to change some color combination of this login screen etc. Okay, his intention. So in such a cases, obviously you have to do the customization in Pega. Customization. So how to customize this login screen? So I don't know how to customize the login screen, because this, what is this rule name, where this rule was present, in which rule set version this rule was exist. Okay, how can I modify that rule? Okay, so etc. Lot of questions. But before going to understand or before going to modify this rule in Pega, let's understand, let's recap, not understand, let's recap few basic principles in Pega. What is that principles? Each and everything in a Pega is a rule. Each and everything in Pega is a rule. That means this login screen also must be a rule. So what is that rule name? Assuming this is the rule name. Login screen is also a rule, but what is that rule name? Web-login screen. Obviously, this rule must be present in one of the rule set version. One of the rule set version. This rule set version must be present in one of the rule set. This rule set is belongings to any one of the application. Obviously, the application contains a rule sets, because I am explaining in the top-down approach. I'm explaining in the top-down approach. Okay, so this rule sets belongs to a particular application. So this application should be mapped to any one of the access group. This access group is mapped to any one of the operator. So now we will come in a reverse direction. So let us suppose I have an operator. My operator ID is mapped to particular access group. This access group is mapped to a particular application. This application contains a rule sets. It contains a rule set versions. It contains a rules. Okay, this is nothing but a application context or application stack. This is nothing but a application context, application stack. Let us suppose the moment when I log in into the Pega application, my operator ID, based on my operator ID, because my operator ID should be mapped to particular access group. So now here my operator ID is admin1. It is mapped to one access group, SBI Apple administrators. This access group is mapped to SBI Apple application. It contains some rule sets, SBI rule set, SBI INT rule set, etc. It contains a rule set versions, SBI 0101, etc. It contains some rules. Now if I did not log in into my Pega application, because when I log in into my Pega application, I can get the application context based on my access group. I can get the application context based on my access group, which was mapped to my operator ID admin1. Now in our scenario, actually I did not logged into my Pega application till now. I did not log into my Pega application till now. Then what is the access group? Because principle is same. Principle is same. Now what is the access group? By default, each and every operator or each and every user who did not log in into the Pega application, we call it as a guest user. Even not only Pega, everywhere, right? There is some guest users. They don't have any credentials. By default they can access the application. By default they can access the application, but if any sensitive information, if any secure information, if they want access, they must log in into the application. Okay, now I can access this login screen. There is no secure information, but if I want to go into the application, then I need to enter the credentials. But here in this screen, by default I'm able to access this application. That means I don't have any operator ID, but I can call it as a guest user, assuming I can call it as a guest user. And this guest user is also mapped to one particular access group in Pega, that is called it as a PRPC colon unauthenticated. PRPC colon unauthenticated. See, I can customization this login screen within 5 minutes, but I don't want to do that. But I want to give the context, I want to give the clear picture of what is happening internally. Then only you can understand properly. So guest user, PRPC colon unauthenticated. Obviously, this unauthenticated access group is also mapped to particular application. That application name is a Pega rules application. This application contains a rule sets. There are some Pega UI rule sets, Pega Pega process engine rule sets, or Pega rules engine rule sets, Cosmos rule sets, and UI kit rule sets, and there are etc etc. There are a lot of rule sets, because which is come up with the product, right? Because you did not created any rule sets, which is come up with by default Pega rules application, which is nothing but a core product. Okay, so this contains a some rule sets, and obviously it contains some rule sets versions, contains rules. As I told you, this is the web login is a rule which is not created by you and which is not created by the SBI application. Obviously, this login screen is come up with the Pega default product. Pega default product. Now what you have to do, you have to customize this login screen. How can you customize this login screen? How can you customize this login screen? Now what I am going to do, I am just save as this web hyphen login rule into any one of the rule set, into any one of the rule set. I'm just save as this web login into any one of the rule set version. Okay, fine. You save as you modified this web login rule set version into any one of the rule set version. But obviously that rule set or rule set version should be present in any one of the application, right? Okay, I already have my SBI application. I already have my SBI application, but this SBI application is also should be mapped to SBI Apple administrator. But this is not the case here. This is not the case here, because you will get SBI Apple administrator access group only when you log in into the Pega application. Only when you log in into the Pega application, then only your operator ID get your operator ID was already mapped to this access group. Then only you will get this application context. Now then in that case, how can you customize this? So i'll show you that I'll show you that what I am doing is I'm just saving as instead of explaining, just watch this. What I'm doing, admin1 login, as usually, because what is my operator id? Open this. Your operator id is admin1. You are mapped to which access group? SBI Apple others. This access group is mapped to SBI application. It contains a rule sets and rule set versions, etc. It contains a rule sets and rule set versions, obviously. But this web login rule is come up with which rule set version? Let's see. This web login is HTML rule. This is leave it about guest rule set. Okay. This web logins rule is come up with the Pega end user UI. This is come up with the Pega end user UI. Actually, this Pega end user UI is in which application? If you want to just see the references. This web login, this Pega, this is in the, sorry. Okay, let me open this rule set, Pega end user. Obviously, this rule set was present in the Pega rules application. Obviously, this rule set was present in the Pega rules application. Now, what I'm going to do, okay, don't confuse. I am just try to understand what I am saying and what I am doing. I'm just click on save as. I created a one rule set version first. I created a one rule set version. That rule set version is a guest rule set. I created a one rule set version, call it as a guest rule set. And this guest rule set was updated in my application SBI Apple. Okay, because you are saving as that web login, which is PRPC rule, which is a Pega rules rule. You are doing save as and start doing the customization. Obviously, how can you do the customization? You can save as the rule into your application rule set version. You can save as any rule into your application rule set version. That is the process of customization, right? Because 1 minute, I'll show you. Because theme Cosmos is built on Pega rules. See, this is the core product which is come up with by default when you purchase this software. This is the by default application, Pega rules application. Even if you open this Pega rules application, it contains a lot of rule sets and rule set versions and Pega UI, etc. Okay. Now, if you want to creating your new application and if you want to start doing the customization, obviously what you have to do, you can save as all these rules. Not all these rules, because some of the rules are strictly prohibited to save as. That means those are final rules and you cannot modify those rules. Okay, because those are the core engine rules. You cannot modify it, otherwise your product will be damaged. I mean to say, your product will not be work properly. Your product will not be work properly. That's why Pega itself won't allow you to modify all the rules. Okay, only because Pega knows, okay, this is eligible for customization, this is eligible for customization, you can customize. That means what I'm doing, I can save as this web login rule into my application rule set. In my application rule set, for that what I did, I just created a one guest rule set. I just created a one guest rule set. This is my guest rule set. It contains just 0010101. Now what I am doing, I am save as this rule set into guest rule set. So already I did save as this rule into the guest rule set. Now see this one, web login rule was present in the guest rule set, not in the, by default it was in the Pega end user. But what my intention is, I have to save as, I have to do the customization. Then I'm save as into guest rule set. So now you can start doing the customization. You can start doing the customization. Check out. Okay, so you can try to do the customization whatever you want. Okay, I'm just giving welcome to SBI application, SBI loans. Okay, I'm just save. Later if you want, we can customize a lot of things in this login screen. Updated check-in. Now The web login rule which was come up with the Pega product. Now what you did, you save as and customized into your rule set version. What is your rule set version? Your SBI rule set version. Your SBI rule set version. Now here one question, sir. In this case, now you save as the web login rule into the SBI application rule set versions, but SBI application context only available when the operator is login into the Pega application. When the operator is login into the Pega application, then only we will get SBI application context. Before that, how can I get the SBI application context? That is the important point you need to understand. So if any operator is login into the Pega application based on the operator access group, the application context will be identified, because that is the very very important to evaluate, to identify, or to execute the rules by the rule resolution algorithm of the Pega. Because if you did not get the application context, Pega cannot find out the rule. Pega cannot find out the rule. So in this scenario, now even you save as your web login rule into the SBI application rule set, but still doubt is this SBI Apple application context, SBI Apple application context is only available after you log in into the Pega application. Now next question. So now in this case, what we have to do? In this case, what we have to do? No. Already we have a one unauthenticated. We have already one unauthenticated access group. So if I map my SBI application to this unauthenticated access group, then obviously these rules are present for the guest user as well. Obviously these rules are present to the guest user as well. So what we have to do, so same guest user, same PRPC colon unauthenticated. Now what I am doing, instead of mapping this Pega rules application, I want to map SBI Apple. Then obviously rule sets versions and rules, it contains a web login. It contains a web login. Okay, it contains a web login. So in this case, I want to make a one more change. Instead of reusing this PRPC unauthenticated, I don't want to disturb this existing one, because which is come up with by default. I just want to create my own guest user access group. I want to create my own guest user access group. Guest user, okay, some guest access group. Guest access group, SBI Apple, as usually remaining same. So then first create a one access group. What is that access group? Guest user access group. Go to the records. I'm going to create guest user access group. If you are unable to create an access group, the simple way is you can just save as this PRPC unauthenticated as a guest, save as. Now this is the guest user access group. What I did is I just save as PRPC unauthenticated, PRPC colon unauthenticated as a save as into guest access group. See, if you want, you can open PRPC colon authenticated, PRPC colon unauthenticated. See, there is an access group. What happened? Now here you can search here PRPC colon unauthenticated. See, I just save as this access group into guest access group. That's it. Now what I am doing by default, see, this access group is mapped to Pega rule set. I don't want to disturb this one. I don't want to disturb this one. So I created a guest access group. I mapped to my SBI app Apple application. Obviously, if you map it to the SBA Apple application, you will get the application rule sets. See, there is a guest rule set. See, there is a guest rule set. It contains the web login screen. Okay, fine. Now, sir, now I got the context. So, guest user, guest user is also now get the SBA Apple context, SBA Apple application context. Okay. Okay. So now I created my own unauthenticated access group. I can created my own application rule set. If you want, you can create, you can reuse the existing SBA application rule set versions also. But for your understanding purpose, I created one unauthenticated or guest rule set version. Guest rule set version. Okay. Now what is the next step? Now what is the next step? Usually remember this point. How do you get an access group? How do you get an access group? For example, each and every operator once login into the Pega application, then only you can get an access group context. Each and every operator is having an access group. Okay, that is also once your operator credentials is success, or once you log in into the Pega application, once you log in is success, whatever the access group is mapped to your operator, then access group is identified, then application context is identified. But how in this case how Pega can identify the guest user access group? That is the main question. How Pega can identify the guest user access group? Because let me show you. When I log in into, just log off. If anyone came to this URL, just click on, you are getting this login screen. You are getting this login screen. See, welcome to SBI loans. What happened? When you access this application, okay, you will get a landing page, login page. How Pega knows? Obviously, I am the guest user because I did not log in into the Pega application. My session was not created. So I am the guest user. But Pega must, how Pega knows? Okay, I am the guest user. My guest user is mapped to a specific access group. That specific access group is mapped to a specific application, etc. That context will be started. Okay, but Pega knows, right? How Pega knows? Okay, guest user should be mapped to this access group. So for that also there is a concept. So nothing is magic, nothing is automatic, everything is streamlined. You have to understand, then only in further if you want to modify anything also you can easily modify. Otherwise, right, even if you can break your head 1,000 times also, you will not get solution. So in Pega, very important thing is a requester type. Requester type, go to the sysadmin, there is a requester type. We have a by default these requester types for Pega, for PRPC. Leave it, this is created myself. By default, Pega and PRPC, these are the two system names. I don't want to talk about the system names. I want to talk about the requester types. See this one, batch, app, browser, portal, async processor. Similarly, app, batch, portal, async processor. Now here, leave it about PRPC system name. Consider the system name is Pega. Just open, just open the requester type is browser, because you are accessing the Pega application through the browser. That means the user agent is a browser. So the requester type by default is a browser. The requester type is a browser. Now open the browser requester type, this one. Open the browser requester type, this one. So by default, this browser requester type is mapped to PRPC unauthenticated. By default, the browser request type is mapped to PRPC unauthenticated. Even if you map it to PRPC unauthenticated, this PRPC unauthenticated is mapped to Pega rules application. Pega rules application contains the core, I mean the original Pega rules. I mean to say, by default Pega rules application contains what are the list of rules which are come up with product. Okay, now but what I did is I just created my own access group. The guest user is mapped to this access group. Guest user is mapped to this access group. Here guest user is nothing but a requester type of browser. Requester type of browser. Pega recognizes the guest user is based on the browser requester type. Browser requester type. Now this browser requester type is mapped to guest access group. Now guest access group. Now I got the context. If I got the access group context, obviously access group is mapped to the application. Application contains the rule set version, rules, etc. So this is the path. Now that's why my browser requester type, my browser requester type is mapped to guest access group. Guest access group, because I have already created a guest access group. Now if you want, you can open the guest access group. This is SPA Apple. It contains application and rule set versions. It contains a guest rule set. Here into this rule set version I save as that web login screen. Now you can open the web login screen. See, do whatever the customization you want. So like this. That's why now I'm getting welcome to SBI loans. If I don't want to remove this pega also, I can do that. Solution is not an important, and even see, you can get the solution because we have a lot of blogs, lot of videos, etc, etc. You can make it whatever they did, but try to understand the concept. That is very very important, especially when you are working on a tools. You have to understand how the tool was built, what is the tool architecture, otherwise it will very difficult to resolve any issue. It is very difficult to resolve an issue if any issue is came. So now go back to, where is that web login, search. Now open your web login. This is our rule, right? Here, right, we want to customize. You can customize, just I have added that SBA Apple. Now if you want to remove the terms and conditions below also, you can do that. See how much JavaScript code is loading, CSS code, etc, etc. See, this is one. Pega include a copyright. Now I am removing this one, copyrights. Save, check in. Now I can open just Edge browser, instead of login and again and again. See, there is no terms and I mean copyrights. There is no copyrights below. Similarly, if you want, you can customize. Control Z, check out here and customization. You can change the background color. You can include the logos. You can include the logos and so this is very careful. This is HTML contains as usually JSP tags. All these are the JSP tags. Okay. So because I have changed this login to the authenticate, and even if you want, you can trouble logging. If you want, you can remove the trouble logging also, because I don't want to allow the users to click on the trouble login. Now coming to the CSS also, you can apply the styles. Okay, body style colors and style equal to background hyphen color colon yellow. What happened? Background color is not applying, and even the okay, background color is not applying. Okay, like this you can change it, but you can change the colors, you can change the fonts and etc, whatever the customization you want. Okay, so this is the process and this is the login screen. I hope you understand the concept of how to do the customization of any non-authenticated rules in Pega. Thank you. Happy learning.